As you've already seen, the island plays host to many locomotive types, from old Dexby built locos to Swindon masterpieces and my own Alfriston built machines. You've also seen, however, that the Midland region also has its grubby paws on the island's railways, with services to the north being put in the hands of their capable Stanier machines. Midland trains would head north via Swansea to connect with places like Manchester and further afield places like Glasgow. A modest fleet of locomotives were allocated to the island during this time. 45440 Stan you've already met. A friendly, hard-working, mixed-traffic loco who was seen on freight almost more than passenger trains. Although with colleagues of stature such as his, passenger turns were hard to come by. A Royal Scot called Seaforth Highlander was the Midland's top link express loco. Whilst he was complemented by Falkland, a Jubilee, and most interestingly, a Caprotti valve-geared Black 5 called Francesco. With the success of my goods yard at Retford Junction, the Midland region was keen to capitalise. I mean, have you seen him, chaps? I ask you, have you seen anything so sad before?
Just a discount, princess.
It wouldn't be so bad if he was actually built at Swindon, but to be built here? On the island? Oh, the indignity of that. What's wrong with being built on the island? What do you mean? There's no notoriety, no bragging rights. And not to mention the fact that he's failed on the regular for the past 3 weeks. So, there's nothing some routine maintenance can't fix. Could happen to anyone. So why hasn't it happened to me or you? Luck of the draw. Not that you've got much to brag about, you were built by North British.
And what's wrong with that? I was too.
You were built by Armstrong Whitworth, Stan, your point being? Well, none of us were built at Crewe or Derby, you know, the two big loco works of our railway. But at least we were ordered by the LMS. 8020 is nothing more than a private party piece. A party piece? He runs to London and even Kent every day.
What do you think, Frank?
Oh, come on, don't bring him into this. He's young and...
I can speak for myself, Stan.
Yes, Stan. Don't put words in his smoke box.
I've got bragging rights over all of you anyway. I was built at Orwich, a fine locomotive works of repute.
For the Lancashire and Yorkshire. Don't listen to them, Frank. He's on some sort of power trip.
I can make my own mind up, thank you.
We know you're only defending 8020 because you have a weird obsession with the western locos on this island. We see you talking to the station pilot at Alfriston, not to mention the other panniers from the branch line.
They're a damn sight better conversation than you lot sometimes. What could they possibly talk about that's more interesting than our evening chats? The consistency of paint thinners is usually a real conversation starter.
Is that supposed to be a joke?
What do you think? Well, what do you want to talk about then? Can't be much space for conversation when all they talk about is the supply and demand of the brasso industry. That's not funny. We've told ghost stories and...
Oh, I was there that night. It was fun.
Hold your waist, you idiot.
Aw.
What else, Stan? I don't know why I'm having to explain myself to you lot. Why do you care who I talk to? Well, it's not very brotherly now, is it? Gallivant off to Retford Sheds and speak to Bride. I'm sure she'd love that.
She's ancient, properly clapped out.
I can't believe she's still in service. Aren't the rest of the class all gone?
Well, if you actually took the time to speak to her, you'd realise how much of an asset she is to the branch. Also, you'd know that there were 2 other saints out there. There's Saint Helena on Porthston, and there's Sebastian, although she says she doesn't really want much to do with him. He's pretty chaotic. I mean, this one time he actually caused a lot of harm to... Right, I'm gonna stop you there, I don't actually care. If it wasn't for her and her class, I wouldn't be here. Neither would you, Frank.
Something else to blame the Grey Western for, then?
Haha, yeah. Wait, what?
See, look, they don't care. Of course we care, Stan. We care about our own. Even if they are a weird experiment.
Less of the experiments.
See, even he joins in with the banter, Stan.
Banter? If that's what you call it. Aye, that's what we call it. Isn't that right, Frank?
Of course we do.
Good evening. Oh, haha, hello, Lord Stovell, what a surprise. It's hardly surprising, he lives here. Now, settle down. I'm here to bring you some news.
News?
Yes, some news. You may or may not be aware that I've recently been successfully running some large goods trains on and off the island for some weeks now. These trains have brought a lot of traffic back to my railway as a result. Not to be rude, sir, but we aren't obliged to listen to you bragging. No, you are not. But what are you going to do? Leave? I've locked the traverser, so good luck with that. That's entrapment. No, I don't think so. Are you like this to your own engines? No, because I like them.
Emotional damage!
But
Frankly, I don't give a damn what you're about to say. All I'm going to say is your region is sending down a goods loco to piggyback off my success, as well as one of you being brought off passenger duties to help. Piggyback? I think it's called healthy competition, sir. Competition is the spice of life, after all. You're not competition. You find this funny, Stan? Yeah, he got you good. Got me? He's talking about all of us. Chat shit, get banked.
is that a brown smoke box I see there, Stan?
Which one of us is named after our designer?
More brown nosing.
You know what? It's rubbish that you can't take more after your name.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, then you'd be thousands of miles away from me.
Alright, that's it. You stuck up demeaning.
If I could interrupt this wholesome conversation for just a couple more seconds of your time. Sorry, sir. Thank you. This new loco is bringing a goods train onto the island in the morning. I'll leave it to you guys to look after him. I've got my own mess to deal with. Any questions, direct them at someone who gives a crap. I left the engines to their wholesome conversations. It was well known that I had a distrust of the Midland region, as a legal loophole had allowed them to access the island's railways, and there was nothing I could do about it. I tolerated their existence as it brought some revenue to my railway, and at this time the revenue from this new Midland goods service could help bolster my profits. The next day, a heavy goods train blasted its way onto the island in the hands of a Stanier 8F. He dropped his wagons at Retford Junction and made his way to the sheds. Hercules, who had brought last night's Redwick Wyvern goods service in, was dozing quietly and hadn't realised who was backing down next to him.
Hello, friend. Am I alright to stay here for a bit? Coal and water up?
Hello there, my dear. Of course, we don't mind, do we, Hardwick? Of course not. I won't be here long anyways. I gotta head out soon.
Thank you very much, guys. It's nice to be back at the Western Shed. Feels a bit like home.
Hey you, 48440, you're in the wrong shed.
Am I? This chap just said I could stay.
That's a Western shed. You don't want to be in there.
Yeah, and? Isn't it all Western here?
Not at New Arlich. We've basically taken over there.
Oh, right. I'll come along once I've had a nap.
No, come on, you need to go up there now. This isn't the place for you.
I've gotta go.
See, you're disturbing them. Leave them alone, they don't want you interfering.
We don't mind, honestly.
He's just saying that.
Alright. I'm coming.
Excellent, well done. There's someone who wants to meet you up at New Arlich. What's your name?
I'm Max.
I'm Frank. Good to meet you.
Hercules and Hardwick watched as the newcomer was dragged away by Frank. What do you make of that, then? Very strange. Strange indeed, my dear. I think there's trouble brewing. I'm not sure any of it's our business, though. I think it'll be our business before the week is out. Well, if you think so, then I won't argue with you. You're usually right. Mark my words, Hardwick, trouble is on the horizon. I think I need to speak to Stan.
Ah, this must be the place. Time for a snooze.
Hello there, newcomer.
You must be the famous Seaforth. I've just been hearing all about you from Frank.
Oh, aye, indeed I am, and I thought we could have a little chat. Where are you going?
Look, mate, not to be rude, I'm knackered. It's been a long trip. I had to go from Willesden to Manchester last night, and then bring another train down here today. I've hardly stopped.
Oh, well, of course, you get some rest there. What was your name?
My name is Max, and I am tired.
Hello, Max, and I am tired. I'm Seaforth Highlanders.
I don't know you, but I already hate you.
Well, I already like you, so you're in luck.
In luck?
You'll let your little indiscretion slide this time.
Wow, so lucky.
You just get some rest now. We'll talk when you're ready.
I would have got some rest an hour ago, but Frank insisted I left the shed down the line and came here.
What shed down the line? Not Retford Junction.
If that's the shed next to where I dropped my train off, then yes. The night owl in there was friendly enough to let me coal and water up, and was letting me stay to get some sleep.
Oh, you don't want to be down there with that riffraff. Max was asleep for most of the afternoon, and was woken later that evening by the sound of engines chatting. He moved slowly forwards to join in the conversation. It's very worrying, chaps, very worrying indeed.
What's worrying?
Oh, Max, there you are. We were just talking about Lord Stovell's apparent turnaround of his goods issues.
He seemed to finally be losing his grasp on his railway, but it seems as if he's cleverer than we gave him credit for.
He's got to be somewhat clever to let us be here and still allow our board of directors to think we're the ones doing him the favour.
Oh yeah, you stand up for him.
Why else would he allow us on the island? Because he lost the court case, of course. Yes, well, maybe he lost it on purpose, finding out just what the arrival of us could do for the island's economy. Well, in that case, he owes us a debt for propping up his island. You can ask him next time you see him. He'll probably be laughing on his way to the bank to cash in the revenue he earns from our passenger service, and now this goods service.
You're always defending him. Always. If you could hear yourself.
I mean, he's not wrong, guys. It seems like good business to me. Make a fuss in the courts to attract media attention, and then once it's been talked about in every newspaper in the country, pull out of the court case, allow trains to run to and from the island at no cost to him, and voila! You've got yourself a shed load of free advertising for these new services, which will benefit the entire rail system.
Who made you Chancellor of the Exchequer?
Calm down, Frank. Our friend here is right.
He is?
Well, mostly right, of course.
Oh, go on. Enlighten me.
Well, it's not as if the Midland region aren't making a pretty penny for themselves either.
Very true. So everyone wins?
Not us. We're stuck with having to live here.
I call that a worthy sacrifice for the cause.
Look, lads. Whatever beef you have with this island, I can't share. I've hardly been here for 5 minutes. I don't know the place, and I don't know the people and engines.
Well, of course, and you won't need to either. You'll be so busy you won't have the time to get to know them, even if you wanted to, of course.
Unlike Stan here, who seems to have a peculiar fondness for this place and its weird engines.
Well, blow me for actually wanting to enjoy the time here instead of being miserable.
I mean, I'm not planning on spending much downtime doing anything other than being asleep.
A very good idea. I don't believe you've been properly introduced to my colleague, Falkland.
Nice to meet you, Falkland.
What about me? What about you? Do I not get an introduction? You're such a free spirit. Introduce yourself. Alright, fine, I will. Hello, Max. I'm Stan.
Hello, Stan. I gather we'll be working with each other a lot. I spoke to your brother the other day. When I mentioned where I was coming, he told me to say hello and to say he might be visiting soon.
My brother? Which one?
I don't remember his name. Think he was 45101 though.
Ah, yes, Dave. Anyway, social's over. I'm knackered. I'll be heading to sleep now. You've done literally nothing all day. Night-night all, except you, Stan. The Midland engines all went to sleep one by one, all except Max, who was being readied for his evening trip back to the mainland. Max's work grew heavily over the coming weeks, and all the while he became better friends with the other engines. He spent many a night laughing away with them, but I couldn't deny that his hard work ethic was something to behold. One night, Bride was making her way home from Cardiff with an evening service to Stowmouth. She was just crossing the viaduct at New Harlech when she felt something give, and she came to an abrupt halt just outside the sheds.
Can we help you, Bride?
Oh, I appear to have an issue.
Oh, you didn't need to tell us, we already know that.
Oh, very droll, young man.
Thank you. Anyways, as I was saying, Frank...
Are none of you going to help an old lady in need?
No, I don't think I will.
You're not worth saving. You belong in a museum.
Or scrapped, just like the rest of your class.
Oh, come on, that's a horrible thing to say.
Blow it out your ashpan, Stan. They're just having some fun.
Max, you're playing a dangerous game. Will you leave Max alone? Just because he has his priorities straight. Priorities? Straight? You're the lot mocking an old woman who is obviously in distress. Can't you see that?
Stop being such a party pooper, Stan. They're just having a laugh.
You know what? I give up. Bride, I'm coming to help. Let's get you home.
Yeah, that's right. Go help your Western friends. They like you better than we do anyways.
You're making a huge mistake, Max. You don't want to be making friends with the wrong sort.
I think I can tell the wrong sort for myself, thanks.
Stan hurried away from the shed, feeling hurt and angry. He buffered up to Bride and got her to the station. I'm sorry about those guys.
Don't you worry, Stanier. I've had way worse comments thrown my way.
You shouldn't get them, though. You've done so much for this island and its people. You deserve praise and admiration. Instead, you get snide comments from engines who should know better.
Stan, you shouldn't worry about other engines' ethics. You have yours, you stick by them, and you'll get further than any of them.
I just want to do right by them. Frank is only 3 years old. He has a lot to learn, and if anything, I want it to be kindness. And Max, well, I've only known him for a couple of weeks, but he's already changed. He was very kind, thoughtful, and, general nice guy when he came here. Excited, even. Now, he's just much like the rest.
If they have the smokebox door fitted properly, they'll work out how to behave for themselves in their own due time. Now, come on, let's not keep the passengers waiting.
I guess you're right, Bride. I'll get you back to Stomouth and run light back to here later.
Are you sure? Oliver will be at Retford. He can help me.
No, I insist. Besides, I'll get to see your lovely branch line, and it gets me away from that lot for a while. Stan hauled Bride and her train away into the night, feeling happy that he was able to help and excited to see the branch for the first time. Meanwhile, at the sheds. I can't believe he'd go out of his way to help her. What a weird colleague we have. I'm glad you saw sense enough to side with us in this matter, Max.
It's good to know we can trust you.
You can always trust me.
I don't know if we can.
Don't be silly, Frank. Of course we can.
For now.
Stan finally arrived into Stomouth with Bride. He placed her in the shed where workmen immediately began looking over her to attempt to find the fault. Stan went to the water tower to fill up before he left.
Thank you very much for bringing me back home, Stan. It was very kind of you.
Indeed it was. We're ever so grateful that you brought her back. We've been really worried. We'd like to take care of our own. Oh, it's alright. Besides, I got to come see your little line for the first time and see where you guys live. Is it what you thought it would be? It's very pretty, that's for sure. Well, as much as I've been able to see in the dark anyway. It's much prettier during the day, I can tell you that. Looking out over the eastern mountains towards Alfred's Haven and Bloodmoor, it's a sight to behold, man. I'll have to take your word for it now, mate. I better head back to New Harlech. Are you sure you don't want to stay the night? Among friends? If I could, I would, lads. Oh, and lady. Sorry, Bride.
It's not a problem, my dear.
Besides, I've got a train to take in the morning, and I need to keep my eye on the others.
We'll take care and try not to get lost. If you have a chance, Hercules wants a word.
You might catch him up at Retford before he takes his overnight goods train if you leave now. Well, I better go then. Thanks for the water. Take care of yourselves. Yeah, you too, mate. Stan left Stomouth and made his way back along the line. He arrived into Retford to see Hercules getting himself ready at the goods yard. Ah, Stan, I was wondering when I'd bump into you. Bride said you wanted to speak to me? Yes, indeed. You're probably aware now, but your new colleague, Max. He arrived on his first day, seemingly bright and cheerful. Can't help but wonder if the reason he's now feeling down and moody is because of the effect that Frank and the other two are having on him. That's definitely what's happening. I thought so. Well, I happen to know something. Max isn't all he seems. Well, no. He's obviously troubled by something. I can sense it. Me too. Just keep an eye on him. I feel trouble on the horizon. I will. I'm hoping he'll mellow out a bit soon and I can speak to him a bit more openly. Might get to the bottom of his issues then. Excellent stuff. I'm glad we could speak. Now you better get yourself to New Harlech before I leave, or you'll be waiting for ages before you can. Stan bade Hercules good night and returned to New Harlech sheds to see the other engines asleep. Before he nodded off, Hercules blasted past. The echoing of his exhaust beat dying into the night was enough to put Stan off to sleep. The next morning, Max was collecting his train at Retford Junction when Frank stopped alongside.
Don't think I don't know your little secret, Max.
I honestly don't know what you're on about, Frank.
You put one wheel out of place to annoy me, and I'll tell Seaforth and Falkland. You'll be out of here in no time. They won't like it.
Frank, I don't know what your beef is with me, but I assure you I've got nothing to hide.
We'll see about that. Have a nice day.
Frank departed, leaving Max rather disheartened, wondering what he could have done to deserve that outburst. Work continued as normal, but Max was sad. He couldn't talk to Stan because he'd already burnt that bridge, and Frank was obviously a no-go. He spent more and more time speaking to Seaforth and Falkland, until one night. I'm so glad you joined our merry band of brothers here. It's been a really nice change to have some intelligent conversation for once.
I'm glad we see eye to eye here.
Well, I'd like to think I fit in quite nicely here. We're all the product of the same designer, same company. I'd like to think that's one thing that we can have in common.
Oh, but are we, Max? Are we really?
Are we what?
Products of the same company?
Well, yes. We're all Stania designs for the LMS.
Indeed we are. Doesn't matter where we were built, we're all LMS locals here.
Oh, well, of course, Seaforth. I mean, you and Falkland are both North British. I'm Irish and Stan's from Armstrong Whitworth. But Max, where were you built?
The colour drained from Max's smoke box. Frank, don't. No, go on, Max. Were you a product of Crewe? I bet you were.
No, not exactly.
North British? Vulcan?
No, not quite.
I've seen his builder's plate.
Well, don't keep us hanging. Don't be shy.
He's a product of Swindon.
The engine sat in silence for a moment. It felt like hours to Max, as he saw the looks of realisation cross Seaforth and Falkland's smokebox.
You lied to us.
No, I didn't lie.
You allowed us to believe that you were one of us?
I am one of you.
Not really, though. You were built at Swindon and spent your first few years working as a GWR engine. Is that correct?
Yes, it is, but...
Explains why I caught you napping at Retford Junction when you first arrived. Bet you felt right at home sitting there in that shed with that Hercules.
Max, I can't believe this insolence. I thought Stan was bad enough just conversing with Westerners on a daily basis, but this is much more serious. How can we trust you again?
I didn't even keep the information from you. It's literally in plain view for all to see.
Don't be so rude.
No, how about you stop being so rude? I'm sick of this. We're all products of Swindon deep down. All of us. Even you, Seaforth. Our designer Stania was Swindon born and bred. Much of their design practices run through our metalwork. Bride, she's a saint. The genesis for 2-cylindered 460s, and by extension, the two of you 3-cylinder designs. Can you not see how similar we are? How dare you? I'm a Fowler design. How much of that Fowler design is left in you? You're a Stania engine, whether you like it or not, you deluded old fart. So what if Max was built at Swindon? So what if he worked in the West Country for a time? Gives him a much larger worldview than you narrow-minded assholes. Come on, Max. I've got some engines for you to meet.
That's right. You run away to your Western buddies.
I thought better of you, Francesco. There was so much potential in you, but I see you've just become like these two. Stan and Max made their way out of the shed and into the night. Frank refused to look at them as they left. Seaforth and Falkland seethed in silent rage. The trouble that Hercules had predicted, rearing its ugly head and leaving a sour taste in the air.
Stan,
Yes, Max.
I'm really sorry for being so horrible to you.
It's understandable, mate. Very much understandable. But I wish you'd have told me.
I didn't know if you'd accept me.
Do I look like that lot? I judge engines on their character, not where they're built. That's why I like speaking to the island's engines.
Well, thank you for not giving up on me.
That's more than alright. Now come on. I've got somewhere to take you. What a pair of fools.
Oh, most definitely, Seaforth. You told them good, stupid Western apologists.
That Stan cannot be trusted, he really cannot.
Shut up. Just shut up, the both of you.